who you end up with, who you hook your cart to in a relationship can determine the direction of your life, can play a part in your destiny. If you're hooking your cart to the wrong person, they really can literally pull you off into a different direction. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is LolaAjisafe here. Today we're reviewing Ready to Love, this season 4, episode 10. Wait, hold on, 10? Anyway, this episode called True Colors. Housekeeping rules. Don't forget to like the video. Guys, you're doing great. Help me keep the algorithm putting my videos out. Like. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. I love to see the different opinions. And of course, if you haven't done this yet, help me stay alive. Subscribe. Anyway, so let's go right.
Get to the point where it's starting to cut down to the bone of
to the white meat.
To the white meat.
But you good, boo. In this process to find that one, and I've done a sprint, and some people are doing a marathon, so it's sad, but we'll see you guys at the reunion.
Everyone trying to figure out their connections. Granted, that's great, y'all made a connection. But who's to say he won't get voted off the island because he's not giving it?
I'll y'all up. The lady said that you're not ready to love. I do believe what we have is real, so I am self-eliminating with you.
So, what did we say last week? Pride goes before a fall. Y'all need to sit down and be humble. What happened? First thing first, we had the first eliminations. Finally, we know the conclusion. Who's going home? Uncle Cornelius is going home. That's not all. You know, I said last week, I was like, you know what? Like, yo, sis talk about she's gonna mess somebody up, she's gonna do all this, she's gonna do all that, making all these threats. But like, if he's all that for you, if he's the one for you, why aren't you going home with him? She must have heard me say that. Just kidding. Anyway, so she's self-eliminated. Okay, I mean, that's cool. That's all good and well, but I just think it's the irony of life. Like, sometimes really, you know, there's this thing they say that on your way up, make sure you're good to people, because on your way down, those are the same people you're going to meet. Like, that's why I mixed up some clips from last week, because I just wanted to put the contrast there. And that's why it's, even though this is a reality show, the lessons we can learn. Because she's not a child, she's in her 40s. She must learn this lesson about humility, but some way, somehow, she forgot, or she lost sight, or I don't know. But it just seems so interesting that on one hand, literally, and it was, of course, it was all at one, but first it's a week later. But literally one night, she's talking about, yeah, see at the reunion, it's gonna blah blah. Little did she know that's how true that thing would ring to be. It turns out that yes, she was gonna see them at the reunion because she got cut. Well, she is self-eliminated, her man got cut. So there we go. And you know what I thought was interesting was one, why was she crying? I mean, if you knew that you were going to live with your man, what would the tears? I don't know. Like, this extra time on the camera, is this really something? I don't know. I'm not sure. So I'm still trying to figure out what the tears were for, because at that time we didn't know she was going to self-eliminate. So like, is she crying because she's going to tell him to go home and she's going to stay? Turns out she already made up her mind that she was going. So why the tears? That's what I didn't understand. Or maybe she felt that, you know, that hard thud when you hit the ground after, you know, you weren't looking properly. I don't know. So why did she have the tears? Then second of all, you know, that I thought this is, so I'm really looking forward to the reunion for these two, because there's something Cornelius said, two things he said. One, he's like, you know, when she starts cracking jokes about, yeah, when we come back to reunion, we're gonna tell people we're married, blah. He's like, bruh, he's like, sis, like, take a breath and fall back. And she got the message. She's like, I'm just kidding, I'm going too fast, yeah. So anyway, one of the things that he said that of note was, I don't know where this journey will lead us or where it ends. The journey between him and Camille. I don't, that's like, you know, code for, like, he done? Or, and if he's still playing the same game he's been playing when he leaves, then he don't have a choice in the matter. He's going to have babies and he won't even know that he's the father, like the way he's playing. And another thing he said of note was, that one of the things he regrets was not socializing and making more connections with the other ladies. There's so much we could do with that. Are you saying you don't wish you were going home? Are you saying you wish you had tried to have relationship with, like, what does that mean? What does that tell us? I don't know. Uncle Cornelius was playing a tight game. He's one of the people I really want to see what he has to say when it's time for reunion time, just to tell us, like, what game was he playing? Like, was he just pretending to be, you know, soft?
For me, I love questions. I think questions are a great way to getting to know someone. Bill's got a lot of connections, and I want to know, where do I stand?
So here we're now dealing with the piece involving Shiloh and Phil. From the beginning, they've been like, you know, they kind of got close pretty quick. They kind of paired up quick. So, but apparently it seems that you know, they kind of started with energy, but they seem to be slowing down. So she's trying to, you know, get some time to better know him, get some more information from him. So she comes up with this game and, you know, the questions. As the intimacy coach, she realizes that to better understand someone, you need to ask questions. And that's true. And I don't think, because she says it's, you know, it's her thing. I think for everyone, that should be something important that we have to realize. I'm talking to myself. You definitely have to invest time in asking those questions. Even the things that you might think are not so important, because sometimes it's not so much the answer they give you, sometimes it's the way they answer the question. Just everything, you must be reading everything. Just that, you know, because at a certain point, at the beginning stage, you're collecting data. And if you don't collect the right data, you're not going to make the right product or make the right assumption or a conclusion, or it just won't be right. And then you'll be looking back like, if only I had, I wish I had. And so I think we really need to go back to really asking questions. I remember a long time ago, I had a friend who I worked with who, you know, her parents had given her a couple numbers of some people that she needed to call in terms of dating, you know, in that community, the community she was in. And, you know, she was going through a list, like really almost like a job, like, you know, if you go for a job interview, like she was checking a list, and this was at work going there. And at the time, I'm like, that's weird. Looking back now, that's not so weird, because I'm sure she's happily married somewhere, because she went through the motions. She went through that list. To be honest, sometimes that's why some of those arranged things might work, because there's actually more effort and thought put into it than you just meeting someone and the chemistry just sparks. I mean, you need a little bit of everything, but just chemistry sparks not going to take you anywhere. You're just going to be, when sparks die, because they will. When the sparks die, you'll be looking at each other like, who is this? Who am I? Who are you? How do we get here? And then be confusion, probably double confusion if there's some little bambinos on the side. But anyway, I digress. Let's keep this moving. And then, you know, I do have a question about this particular scene, you know. Her asking, so Shiloh having to ask him, because there's something about she wanted, her having to ask him that, you know, asking him to make grand gestures. And, you know, grand gestures for her, I'm assuming she's talking about, you know, just being more affectionate, maybe be more forthcoming, coming out a little bit more, being that she's an intimacy coach. The fact that she needs to ask for it, is that a red flag? Because, so I kind of look at it both ways. If he's not doing it, is it because he's not fully committed, he's not really interested, and his mind is not there? I would assume that if a man's fully on board, that he would know, you won't need to ask him to be affectionate. Like, I'm not sure. That's what I wonder. Like, what do you guys think? Tell me. Is her having to say, and then him having to respond with a very curt and brief peck, almost like you're kissing your cousin in church, you know that church hug, like So yeah, is it a red flag that he's not giving it, or is it just that he's taking his time and he's getting to know someone? He had said in a confessional after that he wasn't yet kind of throwing himself into that direction like that because he wasn't ready to commit. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Two pairings that I think are kind of cruising on cruise control. One, you know, Aisha and Dante confirming, you know, they're still doing good. And these might be like, this is like the sleeper couple. Like I'm watching, but it's like, as we're looking, they seem to have more and more in common. They seem to be clicking, and we didn't see it coming, but now that it's here, we're like, it makes sense. But stay tuned. Next we have now, of course, Frank and Mumen, they meet up. What I did like in this scene is Frank is honest. I mean, I guess in comparison to other seasons where it's always about, you know, them playing their cards, particularly the men playing their cards close to the chest and not quite being forthcoming. Or maybe the women are learning not to always ask for what position am I? Am I top 1? Am I top 2? Am I top 3? Am I top in? Like, stop it. So what he's saying is like, you know, I have another interest, which is Sydney. But yeah, I'm definitely digging you. Just real simple, real clean and honest. There's no expectation. So there's an understanding that, you know what, I'm not there yet. And there's no pushing either. So I like that. Unfortunately, Mumen has shut the door. I feel like it was premature. I feel there was some emotional immaturity there where she should have sat down with Walter and really had a conversation before just going off. And you know, it is what it is, but really, who's to... She's now closed that door and said it's over, but she may not have been his number one. I don't know, because I don't know how this thing, how these things play out. But even if it was the end, there is a way to close a door. You don't slam the door. You don't walk through the door and leave the door open, because literally that's what she did. She sauntered off and left the door open. No, you shut the door. If you're walking out, this is all an analogy. You walk out, put the key on the side table, and walk out and shut the door quite gently and walk off into the sunset. She just sprinted out, but she still has the key, or she dropped the key. Like, it was just a messy closing. Like, if she really was done, she should have had a good conversation to settle things. So going into one of the scenes, I think one of the waiting to see what happened, because y'all gave us a clip and we don't know what happened. Dante and Zadia. She walks in, she's talking about, yeah, Dante ghosted her. If I remember correctly, you had quite a frosty reception for him when he came into the house. So I'm not sure how you perceived he ghosted you. But like I said last week, I suspect maybe you were either you weren't interested and now became interested, or you were playing a game where you were like wanting him to pursue you. But he like, sis, like, it's not like that. Like, and he said like, what I'm not good, I thought that you already made your choice, and what I wasn't going to do, sit there and be second fiddle. So he put more energy into exploring his connection with Aisha. She started talking about this thing about, walking into he left her unprotected because she walked into the ladies' lounge last week, or the deliberation last week, where she had no idea what was going on between him and Aisha. I'm thinking like, my G, like, you're not making sense right now. But it almost feels like, maybe she was walking into that deliberation feeling like she had him in the bag, even though she had put no work into it, because for her own account, they really hadn't connected after that. But she never pulled him to the side and said, sir, we haven't really talked since I saw you at the dinner table, or since let's talk. Like she was so confident that even though they hadn't had any exchange, she thought she was still his top. Like, that's I questioned there. Was it the arrogance blinded her? Like, she just thought she had it until she heard that homie had a little cooking thing with Aisha, as well as, the massage thing. Like, and she has the audacity and the gall to be offended. And goes on, she always rings insult very quickly, and began to insult him like, okay, he's whispering, like, sis, do you want him to be yelling at you? Because if he's yelling at you now, you'd be upset. Like, just the way she's carrying herself, really another individual who's not quite emotionally mature. Like, she needs to do better. What she needs to do is just, go to the side and...
In the last 2 days, you planned massages and cooking with Aisha, and then here's Zadia. Just sitting in the wind. Why?
It looked as if you clearly made your choice on who you wanted. And I'm not just gonna sit there and be someone's second fiddle. I pursued you. I'm not gonna keep on knocking on the door that someone's not gonna open the door up for me and let me in when I'm trying to get in. I spoke to her, we've been speaking, it happened organically, and it is what it is.
So what are you telling me right now?
I'm feeling Aisha.
All right. Now you communicate to me?
Yes, I am.
And that right there is that bull. Did you ever care about me? Like, for real, for real?
Zadia, like I keep saying, I didn't see this before. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but you really seem like out of sorts. So you guys have this conversation, sit down, you're expressing to him, how you so we're clearly seeing that you're a bit jealous that he had those moments with Aisha, but you were paying him dust. You were focused on Naeem for reasons best known to you. Like, I can't keep speculating as to why you ignored him, but now you're coming back doing this Scooby-Doo thing. But anyway, you're Scooby-Doo back and you're backtracking and just trying to put it in his lap, as opposed to taking your responsibility in this breakdown. If there truly was a breakdown in communication, it wasn't you trying to manipulate the situation. You're not taking any responsibility for the part you played in this breakdown. You're literally trying to put it in his lap, and at the same time insult him and insult Aisha. That, sis, like, you're in your 30s at this point. You want to be able to self-reflect so you don't find yourself in the same situations over and over and over and over again. On one hand, you said that, that you're not telling me everything. He's now confirmed to you verbally, gave you what you wanted. You wanted closure. I told you people about this closure thing. It doesn't work. Stop it. And in shower, you got the closure. He's told you now. You talk about his BS. Like she's literally flailing, like she's drowning in the pool. She's flailing and paddling and trying to do anything to save face. And you probably shouldn't have had this meeting because I told you closure is a joke. It's an opportunity for you to make a fool of yourself, and you just did that here, Zadia. But let me continue because maybe producers made you guys have this meeting or something. I don't know. Then you go back to like, this little card that women sometimes do, like, I think it's like manipulation where it's like, oh, did you ever care for me? And sis, like, y'all just been talking for maybe a couple weeks now, and it's not even every day. So like, stop it. Did you ever care for me is irrelevant. But it's almost like you trying to absolve yourself of any fault in the breakdown or this loss or your possible, because who knows, maybe he was your top. I don't know. The way you're reacting is making us think. We didn't know this before, but maybe the way you're now responding negatively is making us believe that maybe this guy was your top, but you were playing, or you weren't clear, you weren't sure, you didn't know what you wanted. We don't know. We're grasping at straws right now, and guess saunters off. Come think of it, these days, she's part of the brown girl clique now, the brown girl posse. So it's something they discussed at bedtime that, anytime I'm mad, we're just going to saunter off. She's not saunter off. She says she's walked off, right?
Because you showed your whole true colors this weekend. Period.
You said your piece.
No. Your ass is a fraud. You're fake. That's all I'm saying. Clearly, Dante's not ready to love. And it's not about playing first or second fiddle. It's about playing the fiddle that you want to be. Aisha's dense. She's dumb. So you have fun. You have fun with your connection.
What the hell just happened? That's not how you handle conflict. That's not how you handle an argument.
Yeah. Dante came out here looking like super stuck. He making a lot of sense at the end of that clip. That's not how you handle conflict, and that's not how you handle an argument. Boom. So she first of all, she sauntered off, and then sis decided she want to come back because she want to come back for part 2. Like this need for these exits or something, or maybe she spoke one. I don't know what happened because she was on the phone when she walked off, and all of a sudden she come back like she's not done yet. I think as an aside, Dante thinking, man, I missed this bullet by a second. Like, when you hear a gunshot and you hear, I haven't experienced it, I'm just assuming, okay? You feel the bullet whiz by your ear, and you lay on the ground, and everything's quiet and done. Your adrenaline starts slowing down, and you realize that your life flashes before your eyes, and you realize what you missed. You just missed the bullet. That's what Dante will be thinking right now after this scene, that he just missed a bullet. Chick comes over with cameras rolling and starts tapping his nose. So this performance for the cameras that she did, she know her. Dante handled this really well. He just let her. He didn't touch her. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't give anything for her to use as material to scream any kind of. Because next thing now, if he did anything close, if a man was to do this instead, she'll say that someone's abusing her, someone did this, he was abusive, he was this. He did not give her any material at all. He was still. Literally still, and I think that's what a lot of men are doing now. They don't want any of that kind of mess, their name involved in any kind of mess. Like when she finished, she's like, you've got your piece now leave. Tapping him on the nose, that to me is so disrespectful. So you're asking him that, did he really care for you? But did you really care for him? That you would disrespect him, not just him as the individual, but in public, and thirdly, on front of a camera, which is now going at least nationally, talk less of internationally. That's disrespect of the highest order. So you didn't really care for him. You cared more to save face. Save face for a situation that you caused. And then she starts deflecting because he did mention that thing about, he wasn't going to play second fiddle. So she's yet to argue with that reasoning. She didn't say that that's not true. She said that, you should play any kind of fiddle. No, sis, that's not how it works here. You can't treat him the way you don't want to be treated. So you have not denied that you put him in second place, but I'm confused. Did you want him or didn't you? Because you put him in a box, and now you're mad that he's in the box and he crept out the box and went somewhere else. Makes no sense to me. But anyway, so you not denying it makes us believe that yes, you did put him as second fiddle, but now you're mad that he wasn't under your thumb. Yuck. It's not a good look for you, and it's not a good look for women. This is what makes some of these lunatics that like to generalize about women, particularly black women. When they see this, then they feel justified in coming up with their stupid assumptions. I wish we wouldn't come on camera and do this kind of nonsense. Even if that's the true you. Shame should have caught you. You should have seen that camera and just kept it cute on mute and just walked off into the sunset. You should have kept walking. Exactly. You decided to walk with your ass, you kept walking. You shouldn't have turned back to do this stupid performance. Yeah, you gave yourself like some more camera time, but you look really dumb right now. I don't understand how it played out. And I guess the producers won't stop that because they love this. This is camera magic for them. But it's not camera magic for the rest of us because we're looking at it like, gee, sis, like you don't have to end like this. I don't particularly feel for you, but you just made it worse because what people are going to do, people who don't know us don't know you. That's another stereotype to add to the little notch like, here, that's how they behave. That's why I don't want that. Nah, it was uncalled for and unnecessary. And you went furthermore by now adding to it by not only insulting him, right? Then, insulting, Aisha. Aisha had no, she's not part of this. You're both there for a competition. So we always say, may the best man or may the best woman win. So if she won Dante, then she won Dante. End of story. But you went ahead to call her, what did you call her? Dumb. Now in a position where you feel like you're better than her. That's the problem right there. And I guess that's, title of the episode. Your true colors came out. Your true colors, because the truth is, I think most of us are scrambling like, we didn't see this. And all of a sudden, episode 10, this completely different person shows her ass. That's you. Zadia, you showed your ass better now than never. Because, homeboy thing like, whew, just missed that bullet. But yeah, you showed your ass, you showed your true colors because you just, in everything, it's like you disrespected him, disrespected a fellow woman. Like how did Aisha come into that she needs to now collect insults? She's not there. She's not talking about you. She's not thinking, at least on camera, she's not thinking about you. She's not talking about you, but you're talking about her. And you such a derogatory way to refer to a fellow sister. That at the end of the day, this is the problem I have and I want us as women to figure out. Like anytime there's man beef, man palaver, how are you dragging yourselves? If a man caused the issue, why are you going to the woman? Face the source of the issue instead of a symptom. So you feel like you had some kind of right or ownership over Dante. He says no. So why are you abusing, it's not like even if Aisha stole him from you and took him knowing that he was yours, your beef is still not with Aisha, your beef is with Dante. Because the truth is, if we just kind of delve into cheating, and this is not cheating, or this is separate, but if we delve into cheating for just a second, if you say, whether it's as a girlfriend, whether as a wife, that your partner, the male, is cheating or seeing someone or having a chick on the side or having a side chick, Scooby Snap, whatever you want to call it, has someone on the side that you don't agree with, you are not solving the problem by going to a symptom of the problem. That's going to the woman. It doesn't solve the problem. What are you too scared to go to the source of the problem and actually solve the problem? Because if you go to the source, then you can stop it. You go to the woman, he can go to another woman and go to another one, go to another woman. And then you're just chasing your tail, going around, leaving, your dignity on the floor with different women. Because the woman you're going to go and meet is just looking at you like, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for this woman. I'm just looking at you like, what's going on? Same thing. Like, I really think we need to get this together. Your problem is not the other woman. Your problem is the man you have an agreement with. Go to him. And I'm not saying it's the case here, but I just hate to see, the need for us to constantly pick at each other and pull ourselves down. That's what takes away our power as a whole. And that's why we're sitting here talking about woman power, woman this, woman that. But we don't have that respect and consideration for each other. And they're looking on the outskirts laughing like, what they doing? Yeah, Zadia, yeah, you showed your ass in this scene. Like, yo, true colors, calling Aisha dense and dumb. You're dense and dumb to have said that on camera. You could have felt that way, but on camera, you called her dense and then you called her dumb. I just can't get over the fact that you feel like you're better than her. Like, what in you makes you feel that you're better than her? Big mistake. Big mistake. I'm sorry for you. Like, I'm not even going to break you down and do what you did, but I could take this so many directions, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to sit right here. I'm going to stay right here in this lane. I'm going to do what I told you to do, but the gall of it all.
I want to sniff your neck. When I'm with Walter, when I see Walter, we have a good time. But it was like something inside of me just saying, don't rush into anything just because somebody said the right things to you at the right time.
Walter. Yeah. This scene. I think it's important that I wanted this clip for this reason, and maybe this reason only. What she said. You meet someone, you first start dating, you first start talking, they'll say anything just to get points, you know, anything to impress you, anything to gain traction with you, whatever it is that they're looking for. They want to tell you what you want to hear, either for innocent reasons or not so innocent reasons. But the thing is, this is the point where you need to caution yourself and now hold off. Are his words and his actions, do they correspond? Are they in sync? Is he consistent? His actions, are they consistently the same? And do they correlate with his words? Once that happens, that's why time is important. And I don't want to say it's testing, but it's just watching to see what gets revealed. Because, I mean, we just talked about Zadia. Episode 10, we're beginning to see this lunatic. We didn't see this lunatic the first episode. Like, nobody wants a live wire in their hands, like a grenade. Nobody's trying to pick up a grenade. But if you rush into things, get excited, it says these nice flowery words, then you don't realize you're holding a grenade till you're probably taking it into your room, and then all of a sudden it's like right on the bed. You don't have enough time to throw it out the window, and boom, that's what happens. So yeah, I do like what she said here, that yes, she feels like they have this great thing going on, great chemistry. It appears that she's now the solo one woman has dropped off, so she's not really competing with anyone. But at the same time, she doesn't want to be bowled away or blown away by his words, because that's not enough, and it's never enough, and it shouldn't be enough. You need to pay attention to other things, because body language speaks louder than words. And if the words and the body language or the actions are not meeting, then something is insincere there. Something is not making sense. It's not consistent. It means, you're not getting the whole message. And if you're not getting the whole message, that means somebody's hiding something and can't keep it up. And then you see it. Or some people can keep it up. So you have to be very, very careful and watch. What are they doing? What are they saying? And can they keep it up? Because when you meet everyone's representative is, somebody you put on contract for a little while. Representative is going to leave. That contract is a contract. It's a temporary contract. Each person's representative is a temporary contract. That contract will eventually die out, and you'll see the real person. So that's why you want to be watching and not be blown away by what they might say, in the beginning, just to impress you. Because it's just a game, yo. But anyway, I say that to say that's why I put that clip there. But otherwise, they just meet here. She goes in further in. Like I said, she puts on ensemble together. I love that neck bracelet, but I digress. She goes on to further explain, how, she went into dancing at 19. And, for her, it gave her a lot of confidence.
Yeah, see?
That was too
I
quick.
wanted you to look at that shot. Now, look at
So what ear whistle?
Touch me here, touch me there, touch me everywhere, don't care. 'Cause I want you.
You are, sir.
Oh,
Touch me here, touch me there, touch me everywhere.
yeah.
Okay. Jesus.
This date with Sydney has now really thrown this process for me, or probably added some clarity. It's about making sure it's the right connections. So if you're open to it, I'm here.
So we saw Shiloh's kiss. That looked like, church, like, hey, brother, brother Mike. After we read Psalm 77, what did you think about that? But then this one, it's kind of steamy. I feel like it tells us measures. Like, I want to go out on a limb here and say, is he already leaning towards... Leaning is putting it very conservatively, as he stepped out for Sydney, but has not yet let Shiloh down. I mean, they're two different types of women, so the thing is, what does he want? What's he looking for? I'm not here to judge Sydney, but, she has this, do you want to wet your whistle? Like, what the hell is that? Yeah, I'm like... there's a song, wet my whistle, really, dun, dun. Yeah, seriously, like, I don't know if you listen, and it's a really old song, so I don't know I don't know what she was thinking, but I thought it was kind of corny, but it is what it is. He got sucked in anyway. But, in his confessional, he's talking about, is this now muddying the waters for him and Shiloh, or is he giving him clarity? And there's also something he said there, where he's asking her, is she, if she's interested, that he's ready. I'm going to step out on a limb here and say that coup has happened. There's been a government has been overthrown. There's a new government in town. And I think that point marks it. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, yeah. Yeah. And, of course, we only see clips shown by own network. There might be other clips on the floor that we haven't seen. But those two cases were very different. Yeah. And I think any man would tell you, if he's looking for something in a woman, he's not looking for the church kiss kind of chemistry. He's looking for that kind of chemistry. The one we saw in the second clip. And we saw it with Sydney. Now, I don't know. And he's also insisting on saying that they have great conversation. They didn't show us the great conversation, but he's saying they had great conversation. So if Sydney's giving him great conversation and that kind of chemistry, it's a no-brainer. You know? He's almost making Sydney look like the intimacy expert or intimacy coach. Because, we went from the face to the hands and it was all like this. And we're looking away like, okay, yeah. And I like Shiloh. It's never done. It's never over until it's over. It's never over until the fat ladies sing. But the fat lady's not singing, So that means it's not over. All right, so we're going to the next scene, which is the men's lounge. They're talking about eliminating another woman. Now, in prior seasons, anytime there was someone who self-eliminated, they have not gone on with the scheduled eliminations. If I remember correctly, tell me in the comments if I'm imagining things. But I do remember if somebody self-eliminated, then they would just leave the number. But even though there was a self-elimination, they're still eliminating another woman. What does this tell me? They were trying to break up the Brown Girl Alliance. I'm just saying that's what it looked like to me. Because if I remember correctly, that's the only reason for this elimination. Usually they'll just be like, okay, we've got the numbers clean.
You think just isn't ready to love, Dante?
So I invited Zadie out, conversed with her about where we were at.
Right.
And I said, I'm feeling Aisha.
Yeah.
And she puts her hands on me. And she pokes me in the nose.
About that?
I feel fine.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. I see that as a separate from how she treats me. She treated me 100 all the time.
You may not have had an aggressive encounter with her.
All right, men's lounge, they finally start going to, okay, who are you not feeling or how did the dates go? And then Dante gets to describe his encounter with Zadia. I think what was funny, you'll need to go back to that clip once I say this, what's funny to me, and I couldn't slow that clip down so you could see it, but what's funny to me was as, Dante's, narrating the story, Frank is like one of your aunties in church. Like, I'm like Frank. And, they, those shady producers put that clip in there because that was a little much, sir. It was a little bit much. I don't want to read any meanings about what that means. Clearly, you're not feeling the go. For more reasons, more than one reasons, other things. He's like, because he had a lot to say about the Brown Girl Alliance, really almost a neck roll. I haven't seen a man do a neck roll, but he sure did a neck roll. But what I think of note here is it appears that Naeem's... it's two things. Naeem is either oblivious, not paying attention, or two, he's trying to save his girl because he thinks she saved him. But they break it down for him. It's like, you know what? And I like the way nephew Uncle Tommy talks to him and says, do you see the red flag there? Like the issue there? And the guy's like, no, that she's always treats me respectfully. And yet again, it's the point where I say that, why we think we're different? Like, the fact that she's behaving like that to someone else, you think you're made of different stuff she's not going to do to you at the right place, right time. And that's exactly what Uncle Nephew Tommy was trying to stress, that she hasn't done it to you yet. But nothing special about you. It's not about you, first of all. Whether you are special, it's not about you, it's about them. It's about her. What makes her feel comfortable going off like that in public, on camera, live cameras, and thinks it's okay. It means it's something to do with her. It's nothing to do with you, Naeem. So if you think you're saving her because she's not going to do it with you, you're almost delusional as she is. She will do it to you and then some, because then she'll have a license to do worse because there's no one looking and you'll sit there quietly. Or maybe you won't. Maybe you might smack her and get in trouble. So you don't want that. You don't want that kind of mess in your environment, in your space or your peace. You don't want to mess up your peace, because that's the thing. You see something across the street, you want to learn from that. You don't want to have to learn directly. If you can learn from somebody else's mistake, that's wisdom. If you have to wait till you learn, you have to go through it yourself. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you'll get up with some bruises. That'll be a lesson learned. But if you can avoid that, by all means. So yeah, because he's reasoning right now is like, yeah, well, she don't do it to me, she's not gonna do it. Like, dude, I think we talk about this every episode about how it's not you, it's them. So whether you're different, special, extra, cool, all these things, it can be all that. They're still gonna do what they're gonna do. Mistreat you, and you'll be looking like, oh, they did to them, but you didn't think it was gonna happen to you. So we're going to elimination dates. It's Zadia and Phil, and then Mumen and Walter. So we said 2 minutes ago that they're trying to break up the Brown Girl Alliance. So it's one of them. These are the remaining 2 members. Who is the most harmful one? Zadia. Who is the one? And the thing is, if they kept Zadia, that would be them encouraging violence, because it's really physical violence. No, she didn't hit him hard, but she touched him. She invaded his personal space, and not in a sultry, romantic way. Nah, she was trying to make a point. Because it was a man that did that, they would have thrown him out even before eliminations. So they didn't want to encourage that kind of behavior for next seasons or any further things. So it was clear, I think, to anyone watching that Zadia was going to go because she crossed the line. Because it's like, what do you do next? You're going to slap him? And that's ridiculous. Like, so anyway, so we know she's going home. She comes dressed up like I don't know, like she's playing, like she confused, like she thought Phil was interested in her. That's why she dressed like she was going to the beach. But she sure said that she put on her favorite, her best, one of her top outfits. That's your top outfit then. I'm not really impressed with your wardrobe, sis. But let me keep this moving. So anyway, she comes, maybe not initially knowing it's an elimination. By the time, Phil kind of breaks down. It's like, tell me what happened. And even then, she's not totally apologetic, because he's like, he's saying, I can't really, sanction or encourage the fact that you put your hands on someone. She's like, I don't expect you to, sis. So she's not even sorry. She's talking about she did it in an old mother, black mother kind of, you were wrong. And I suppose reunion, you're going to start talking about how you didn't mean it. Of wishes were horses. So anyway, so we know she's going, but it's clear that she still hasn't really acknowledged the role she's played in her exit of the show, the role she's played in losing her interest. Maybe who was her primary interest. She's not acknowledging that she had a hand in it. She's the victim at this point. So she's going to keep doing it until she realizes, or maybe she watches the show with some insight. She may recognize that. I don't know. Maybe she just needs, sit down with a therapist or something. I don't know. But clearly right now in this tiny short black leather number, she's thinking like, nah, it's not my fault. Like, even though I touched someone, he wants to have something to do with me, of course, I'm all this and a bag of chips. Wrong. Anyway, so going on to Mumen and Walter Day, like I said, Mumen had been hasty and premature in her exit without trying to work things out. So they tried to work things out. In fact, she initially, once again, I don't know how this thing plays out, like, Walter got asked you for a date and you thought he was going to, she initially thought it was going to be an apology and she was going to tell him that, no, I'm not interested. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Seem we have to have a bunch of, women who are a little bit delusional this season. I don't know, like, where did you get off thinking that's what he was going to do? You walked off and left him while he was trying to figure it out. Why would he be calling you back to say please? He was talking to you. I don't even think she realizes what she said. Maybe if she's watching the show back now, she'll realize you telling a grown man that he is being monopolized and manipulated by someone, like he doesn't have a mind of his own. You said that and he's still trying to talk to you, and then you walked off. Double whammy. And then you're thinking he's coming. Yeah, the audacity. Anyway, she soon realizes that this is not a date, but an elimination date. And so her body cools down. Like, she's calm and she's like, okay, I possibly could be going home. That's right, you possibly could be going home. But anyway, they figure out a way to settle everything, and he just kind of breaks it down. He said, I really don't want us to be mad at each other. He's still playing the bigger person. And I look at the way she's behaving, and I wonder, just like wondering, like she's still invested in Walter. Like she's doing all this acting, but she still like him. She's giving it a fighting chance. This format for dating, the dating game show format, is not conducive to making real connections. It's conducive for TV magic, but after a while, we're all going to be tired of seeing the same thing play out in different ways, in different costumes. It's really not conducive, because I feel like Mumen still likes Walter, and she probably should have given it a chance. I'm not saying she would have had a chance, but at least she would leave the show knowing that she gave it what she needed, and there won't be any regret. Because I think as humans, I can only speak for myself, I regret what I didn't do. I don't regret what I did. So if there's something I haven't done that I could have done, I could walk around with that regret. But if I've done the best I can, then I can move on, know that I did my best and it is what it is, and move on. She didn't do her best, and she walked away from something that could have been something, and she's never going to know. Neither is Walter. So yeah, I don't know, this format, they need to do something. The next season can't be like this, or just their numbers will get worse. It's just getting worse. Decided he wanted to sit down with Uncle Nephew Tommy, which makes me come to think, as an aside, that there is a place for mentoring for men. No matter how old you are, sometimes if in an area that you might feel incompetent in, it really does help to get mentoring. We never really think of men getting mentoring. We see people like Kevin Samuels, who actually is quite an effective male coach. And I'm emphasizing male because he should just be focusing on males. He had no business talking to women. That's just my personal opinion. There is a video I did, was a live I did, with a male panel, my brothers, and we talked about it in length. So do check that video out. But yeah, so it makes me think that there is a place for male coaches, because there really is some benefit to getting some good advice. So Uncle Nephew Tommy sits down as like, a male coach to kind of tell him like, gee, I hear you say that you want to self-eliminate because your main interest is gone. But you realize that you were probably second place, which is why she reacted in such a way, because her primary interest had chosen somebody else. And so he acknowledges that, yes, he knows, but it took him a minute. That's what I'm saying. It took him a minute, or maybe he was trying to save face in the men's lounge. Men don't like to look weak in front of each other. So he says he does get that. But yeah, at this point, he's not even trying to fake any connection with somebody else. He's ready to go. I get you, sir. Adios. I bid you well. Got, the brown girls gone with their men, their corresponding men gone, which means that you get dirty by process of just association. It's important who and this emphasizes another real life example. It's like who you end up with, who you hook your cart to in a relationship can determine the direction of your life, can play a part in your destiny. This is very important. I don't think it's a lesson they meant to show, but it's a lesson that's shown here, both for women and for men. If you're hooking your cart to the wrong person, they really can literally pull you off into a different direction. Because if you look at these two men here, Cornelius got voted off because people were done. First of all, his association with Camille was becoming toxic. People were sick of it. And secondly, he was not expressing or showing interest in any of the other ladies. And he probably could have found a better match in the house. That's just my opinion. I wasn't there. I don't know him. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe that's the right person for him, but it didn't look right. Second person, Naeem and Zadia. The fact that Naeem closed his eye like this and stuck with Zadia now and didn't reach out to anybody else. So he had to leave too. Boom, would you know? And that emphasizes, let's take this point home. Who you connect with, who you associate with can determine the direction of your life. People take note and take this thing seriously. It's not all about, butterflies and, feeling something warm. It's real life. And it can bleed into many other aspects of your life. So guys, that's been real. We've really kind of come to the end of episode 10. Let's see how this goes. What's going to happen? How many more episodes do we have to go? But thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to keep up those likes, y'all. I appreciate it. Keep it up. Don't forget to subscribe and drop some comments about, what we talked about, what your opinion is. Because at this point, really, I would love us to, even if these couples don't end up being together, we get something from this. Yeah, it's fun to watch, it's fun to see, but let's have some take-home points that we can use in our own lives. All right, guys, it's been real. Thanks for watching. Take care. Over and out.